I'll tell you who I am. I'm tired.
I'm with tired here.
I think I was born tired.
Born ugly.
Right. But I'm resting up for the 4th of July, so all of you that would like to contribute a fifth for the 4th, just send it to 1818 Jacksboro Pike.
And tomorrow's the 3rd, so you can get the 3rd,
I said to
5th,
contribute a fifth for the 4th, just go ahead and send
on
it.
the 3rd.
You send it on the 3rd, be fine.
Yeah.
Because 3 and 2 makes a fifth.
I went home today, drove that little blue truck.
Did you?
Went in the living room and sat down and saw something fall off top of the house. What would you think it was?
I would say that it probably was a flying saucer goat.
No, it was a black snake about that long.
Really?
Fell off the top of the house.
How about that?
I reckon he couldn't stay on that tin. He's probably up there bird hunting.
Yeah, then probably was so hot he couldn't stand it. Probably what he was.
Well, it was shady. I don't think it was the heat that got him. I think he's just too slick for it. Of course, he may have been hot and he's trying to turn it loose.
Right.
But he's probably up there bird hunting. And I told you there's a lot of snakes this year, but that's the first I ever seen fall off the top of the house.
I thought maybe one of your goats was up there.
No, that was the next thing, I guess.
Well, do you remember Rambo?
Yeah.
Rambo chased something up on the deck, up that roof, over on the steep roof, and he was up on the ridge cone of that house. You know, it's about a story and a half house, you know. And did you know he was smart enough, we talked him over. He come over and he come over and come over where he could slide down onto that deck. He was that smart.
He was a smart dog.
Yeah, if you know, you missed it if you were not acquainted with Rambo. He was one of the smartest dogs I've ever had, and I think that Ronnie ever had.
Well, I've got one out there now. It's one of the dumbest dogs I've ever had, but she's a likable dog. She'll follow me down to the lake, and I have to go get her if she don't see me leave.
Can't find her way back?
No. I lost her one time. Got worried about her, and I went down to the lake. She was there. I took her back to the house. Well, in about a month, I went down there, and she followed me down there, and I come back, and she's gone the next day, and I figured that's where she's at.
Right.
I went down there, and she was laying there beside the road waiting on me. She climbed in, and I took her home.
We had a bobtail cat. That was called, we called it Beethoven. And it was a big cat, and that was before we had any children with my first marriage, and we took Beethoven, and we had a dachshund by the name of Lenny. We took Beethoven and Lenny everywhere we went. Well, we were going to, I believe we were going to Morehead City, or to the Outer Banks, one or the other, I can't remember. But we stopped and got gas, and the cat was just like a dog. You could let her out. You roam, you got ready to go, you could call her, and the cat, and call him, it was a he, he'd get back in the car and go. Well, somehow or another we forgot Beethoven at the service station. We're about 60 miles down the road. So we have to turn around and drive back up to the service station. Well, you know, most cats would have been already up a tree or somewhere gone. Beethoven was sitting right there by the gas pump waiting on us. We'd been gone almost 2 hours,
Yeah.
you know, and sitting right there at the gas pump waiting on us.
Well, that's the best way to get a ride home.
I would think so. So, that
Well,
was
I'll
a
tell you.
smart cat.
Used to be we had a filling station. There's another filling station right down there where Sunrise is at, where
Right.
the Rainbow Restaurant is.
Right.
Used to be Sunrise Biscuit Shop. But anyway, there was no feller, there's 2 or 3 fellers from North Carolina. It wouldn't been you, would it? Stopped down there and they got gas, and while the boys was gassing the truck up and getting them some tater chips or something, the old man went in the toilet. They come back out and went on and left him. And they got Well, I reckon the next gas stop was over in North Carolina, and they realized they didn't have Daddy with them. The old man had to wait on them to get back. They didn't have no cell phones back then.
Right.
Here they come back and got Daddy, went to North Carolina and come back and got him.
Well, you know, it says this one fella stopped at the rest area and he drove off and left his wife.
Yeah.
And he was riding up the road and the highway patrol pulled him over.
Yeah.
And he said, I wasn't speeding. Says, no. Says, you left your wife back at the rest area. He said, thank goodness, I thought I'd gone deaf.
Nah, I guess that's where
Then this fella heard this fella yesterday, I believe, no, it was Saturday, said that the highway patrol pulled a siren on him here in Jacksboro. Said he didn't stop, he just kept going till he got home.
Yeah.
And the highway patrolman come up and says, want to know how come he didn't stop for his blue light. He said, well, says, I'll tell you, says, a highway patrolman took off with my wife, and I thought you were him and you were bringing her back.
Well, that's a good enough reason. If anyone tried to run me down and give mine back to me, I believe I could outrun him.
I believe the old Chevrolet would stop missing.
Yeah, I believe I could stay ahead of the law on that.
Right, yeah. Think so. You know, I was mentioning it to you, we'll save it for tomorrow night, but we do want to mention that I have the facts and figures of the cost for counties that are of similar size to Campbell County for the finance office. And all of the finance offices in this state operate under the 1981 Finance Office Act. And so the job description for one county would be the job description for all the other counties. And so I'm sure that our finance officer is not doing anything more than what is required by the 1981 Financial Management Act, and that these other counties aren't either.
Well, I've got two things that I want to talk about, and one of them is, if you ain't got nothing to do Friday evening at 8 o'clock, go downtown to the parking lot and you can hear the best little band in the county. Country Time Band will be playing music down there and don't cost nothing.
Where's that at?
Down at the parking lot.
Okay.
They're good, folks. They're really good. And the other thing I'd like to say is, if you just need to buy any motor oil, go up Napa, because they've got a sale on it.
I got some, and I beat you to it. You went yesterday. I went. You went.
I went this morning.
You went. I went yesterday, and got some.
Well, I didn't know it was on sale. I went in there to get a quart. I was going to get a quart, and I didn't need it, but I got it, you know, when I'd have it. When you get out in the country, you need a quart of oil. You ain't going to just pull one out of your back pocket. So I got me one to carry around in case I needed it. And he said, that's on sale, and it's about half price.
Yeah, I know that.
A little more than half price, so I just got a case.
Right, yeah, I know that. I got the real special deal. I got 5 quarts of oil and a filter from a little Dodge truck. You can't believe how cheap I got it. I'd rather just go up there and buy it. I don't think he gave me any special price, but...
Well, I didn't get no special price either. I got that oil was $2 a quart cheaper than anywhere else.
Right.
You know, that's the thing about Napa. You can find deals a lot of places, but you don't want to do... It's all right to buy a washer or maybe some window washing stuff or something at the cheapest place you can find it. But Napa has good prices and has some deals on sale and stuff, but they also have good parts all the time. They don't sacrifice quality for price.
Right, that's right.
I mean, you know, it ain't
you're not getting some old watered down version.
It ain't too important on, you know, maybe a wiper blade. You can get by it or you can do better, but when you're talking about the brakes, you want the best you can buy.
Right. Or have real good soles on your shoes.
Yeah, that helps too.
You can drag that foot, you know.
I generally, in whatever I'm driving, I've got a hole in the floorboard I can get my foot down through.
Right. Well, you know, you get what you pay for.
Yeah, they're up there across my IGA, folks, 562-9406.
Right. That's Napa Auto Parts, and they
If you can't spell it, you can still find it.
Right, they'll fix you up for whatever you need at the right kind of price. You know, if you're looking for quality, dependability, our sponsors have got it. And you can't beat Dixie Concrete.
Yeah, and if you need parts for your car, don't go to Dixie Concrete. But if you need parts for your patio or your septic system, or some sand
if you need a
for the kids to play in.
You need a beautiful floor like they got down at Food City. You're just going up to Napa, up to Dixie Concrete, and they'll sell you whatever you need at the right price and deliver it to you just like I say they're going to.
They have marble quality at a concrete price.
Yeah, they do. Their prices are etched in concrete.
That's right. No, that's amazing. I realize that the best way to advertise Dixie concrete is to tell people to go down to Food City and look at the floor.
Yeah, that's right. You know, if you ain't got nothing else to do, it's worth the trip.
Yeah, just go down there and look at it and admire it and wish you had one.
So what are you doing? I'm looking at Dixie Concrete floor.
Yeah, they could make tombstones out of that stuff, couldn't they?
They could do that, yeah. Oh, I might mention it. Don Powers died today.
Did he?
Yeah.
I hate
Don's
to hear that.
just a little bit older than you. He's not the same age.
Younger.
He's younger than you. I knew he didn't have
Eddie and me is about the same age. And Eddie and me is about the same age, and Don's younger.
Right. Well, Don Powers passed away today, and he had terminal cancer. He was on life support when he passed.
Mm-hmm. He'd have been about
Sorry
60.
to hear about Don. You know, that's my baby daughter's father-in-law.
Let's see if I can pull up the obituary. I doubt if it's there yet, but
It may not be in there yet.
no, he's not in there.
Huh?
Not in there yet.
No, he won't be in there probably till tomorrow. Well, we're sorry some of the family members are watching. We're very, very sorry to hear about Don. He was a very fine fella, very fine person.
Well, what else is going on, Bobby T?
Well, have you seen that cute little van ambulance that Violet Cares run around in?
No.
Well, it's so cute and so versatile. I think they use it to go pick up hamburgers and pizzas and things like that. I saw them up at
Why would they need to haul pizzas around in them?
I've known that when you can haul pizzas and things like that, you know. But you know, UPS makes a living out of just hauling and flying packages around and letters and things of that nature. And they can fill an airplane full of that and make a lot more money than they can off of people.
A plane with a Bolivian president aboard has been rerouted.
What was rerouted?
A plane with a Bolivian president on it.
Oh.
And there's a suspicion that old Snowden's on board.
I think Snowden.
The plane carrying Bolivian President Evo Morales home from Russia was rerouted to Austria on Tuesday after France and Portugal refused to let it cross their airspace because of suspicion that NSA leaker Edward Snowden was on board, the country's foreign minister said. He landed in Vienna.
I don't think he was, do you?
I don't know.
Well, you know, Putin's always said he wouldn't extradite him. Don't they wonder why he won't leave Russia?
He said he wouldn't extradite him, but he said he had to quit telling secrets, too, to everybody except the Russians.
Yeah, well, I think I've got mixed emotions. I kind of believe he ought to be hailed as a hero.
Well, I need to know more about it before I go that way.
Well, I do too, really. But I know enough that I don't think our government has any business spying on us as individuals and as citizens of this country.
Well, I agree with you on that, but I also wonder who's dumb enough to think that they wasn't doing that all along.
Well, I know that, yeah. And I think that they wanted this let out to see what the people's reaction was to it. And it doesn't seem like it's caused a whole lot of uproar on the part of the American population that they're being spied on daily. Did you hear that Megyn Kelly had praised Rush Limbaugh?
Has she done what?
Praised him.
No.
Well, yeah, for telling the truth and bringing things out that other people won't.
Well, she's going to Fox News primetime whenever she gets back from her maternity leave.
Is she in a family way?
Evidently. I don't know why you'd have maternity leave if you wasn't.
Well, I don't know. I understand them gay couples, all of them, regardless of what sex they are, want equal rights. They want maternity leave. They said, whether we're pregnant or not, we want 9 months out of 12 off.
That sounds good to me. That's kind of like going to school,
I think
right?
they're entitled to it, really, with full pay.
Well, I guess that's right. You know, they've put off part of the Obama care implementation to after the election. Didn't want to make people mad before the election.
Well, he's run a perfectly good health care system that we had. Nobody was being denied coverage. And this is the only country that I have ever known in history where poor people are not supposed to be poor.
Yeah. You're supposed to have everything guaranteed to you, ain't you?
When I came along, if you were poor, you were supposed to work your way up to the top by hard work and by getting a good education. Now, instead of working your way up to the top, you sue that you've been denied your rights. You know, I don't know whether the city could really charge us for drinking water or not, since it's essential to living.
Well, they CO2 is essential, and they're taxing it, so it's just a matter of time till water's taxed.
Yeah.
Well, you know, they say that they're just about ready to do a head transplant.
Really?
Yeah. And since you got a head that's making such poor use of that body, Why don't you donate your body to somebody that's got a good head to go on it?
Maybe I'll do that.
Maybe you get one to grow hair.
You know, I think maybe what they ought to do rather than going with a full head transplant, maybe they ought to start with ears first. Maybe they could trim Obama's back a little bit, or when he's downwind, his ears don't flop.
Well, I don't think that they have that capability yet.
Now, I'll tell you what they can do. They have grown tissue.
They have what?
They've grown tissue.
Oh, yeah.
Take tissue.
Yeah, they can grow you a new ear.
And they can grow you a new ear.
Mm-hmm. They just put a frame out there and grow some stuff on it.
I wonder if they could grow me one that can hear.
Well, that's why you need a head transplant. You need to give that body to somebody who can use it.
Old body's done me good over the years, you know. It's been a good one. And believe it or not, I've taken care of it. I've always got a good night's sleep. And I never have eaten hardly any fried foods or fast foods. To me, I thought the lowest rent thing I ever saw in my life when I was a young man, I saw this big Cadillac pull into a McDonald's. I said, I said, you mean he's going to go in there and eat? Because I expect you to go to some fancy restaurant or something rather than pulling through the drive-in window of a McDonald's. Now, this was in 1957, 58, somewhere along there. When Cadillacs were real noticeable, because they had the big fins on the back.
Yeah.
But my mother, she was kind of snooty. She never would take us to a fast food restaurant. She always took us to a real nice restaurant that had table service.
Who?
Huh?
Who?
My mother.
Oh.
Well, what else is going on? I told you I had that report of what it cost total to operate the finance offices of the different counties, and they range anywhere from $4 and something per person up to Campbell County's $20-some per person. And we have, I think, the highest dollar amount being spent on the budget office, our finance office, of any county of anywhere similar size of ours. And we have a higher dollar volume being spent on our finance office than is being spent on a lot of counties that are real large, much larger than ours also. We have $980-some thousand a year being spent on counting our money.
Well, we got so much money in this county to count. We need
our money, it needs to be looked after a little bit better, than just an ordinary dollar. But we'll go over it in detail tomorrow. I've got it in black and white. What we pay, and you're going to be surprised how much money is being eaten up by our finance office.
Well, it takes money to count money. Don't you remember? You never heard people say it takes gas to haul gas?
You have to you have to teach them in there, take them in there and give them complete new mathematical instructions. Because when they're counting money, it don't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It says 1 for you, 2 for me, 1 for you, 2 for me. That's where you have to count.
Did you ever see Abbott and Costello that time they was on that ship and didn't have nothing to eat but some beans?
And they were what?
Didn't have anything to eat but some beans. And I think they just had like
and they were counting the beans.
10 beans. So old Abbott just ate his 5, and then he told Costello, said, "Look there, you've got 4 beans, and I ain't got no beans." It was even till he got down, so he give him half of his 4 beans, give him 2, and he just hurried and eat them. He said, "Now look there, you've got 2 beans, and I ain't got none." And he said, "You ought to give me some of them." So he gives him one of his beans, and he had 1 left. He hurried and ate it, and he told Costello, said, "Look, you got 1 bean, I ain't got none. You ought to half it with me." So they cut it in half, and anyway, the old fat boy ended up not getting a thing. Old Abbott ate all 12 of the beans, whatever it was.
How about that?
But I guess that's the way it always is. We need a bean counter down there that can count our money in such a way that we're always solvent.
Right, yeah. That's all under counting anyhow.
Yeah.
You know, I can't get over this, all the lying that goes into the news reports and into what the government says about our economy. Now they're trying to come up with the idea that the economy is really coming back, and I guess when housing prices rise, that's supposed to be, I guess, an indication that the economy is getting good. And when the stock market is rising, that's supposed to be an indication that the economy is good. But the stock market ought to be good, because what's his name, the chairman of the Federal Reserve, he's putting $85 billion into the economy every month, and he's used it to buy stocks and bonds from Wall Street. So that's the reason.
Now, where else you going to buy stocks and bonds?
Well, you shouldn't be even buying stocks and bonds, is what I'm saying. That's what is propping up the New York Stock Exchange, is the government is investing $85 billion a month into the stock market.
Well, seems like sensible something to do to me. You'd think as much money as they printed, they'd be a little more of it floating around, wouldn't you?
Well, they're not really printing any new money.
Well, no, not real paper.
No, they're not even printing real paper money. They're just digitizing it in a computer. They're just moving a decimal point.
Just give it a few more zeros. Zeros ain't worth nothing.
Right. I mean, what's another zero, you know? And so that's what they're doing. They're just digitizing this new money that's it's just a number in a computer.
I think I've been hypnotized and I'm about broke.
Well, I thought they were taking away from me and giving it to people.
Yeah, I thought I was the one that's buying all that stuff. I ain't got no money left.
Well, you know, you can do things. You're kind of like old guy that ran the Ponzi scheme. What was his name?
Ponzi? Ponzi?
No, the one
Madoff?
Madoff, yeah, Madoff.
Well, Ponzi invented the Ponzi scheme.
I know that. Old Madoff, you know, he just kept that thing going for years and years and years. And that's all the government's doing, is run the Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, well, yeah, they are. That's what, that's the way they do business.
The only thing is theirs is supposed to be legal.
Yeah. They put us in jail for doing what they do.
You know,
it's against the law to lie to them, but they lie to us all the time.
The Republicans will celebrate Independence Day on July the 4th. The Democrats celebrate it on April 15th.
Well, what about the 150th, what is that,
Sesquicentennial.
Yeah, of Gettysburg. Are you going to go up and watch the
I
reenactment?
think we'll go out and shoot a few Yankees.
Yeah, I know where we need to start.
Maybe some Illinois.
Yeah.
People from Illinois.
Chicago.
Cook County.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You know, they said the Democrats, Republicans were so hard trying to dig up something on the Obama administration that the only thing they dug up was Jimmy Hoffa.
I tell you what, they got what they bargained for when they elected the Barack Obama.
Well, you know, I think this country has got what it bargained for.
And this county and the city too.
The county and the city, I think we've got what we were bargaining for. You know, I was talking to one of the city councilmen, and we were talking about the police situation here in the county and in the city, and he said that we had 77 police officers within a 7-mile radius of the Folly.
That's 11.
Huh?
That's 11.
Hmm?
That's 11 per mile.
Probably. Yeah. And that's about right. And I said, well, now, does that count the constables and the state ATU boards that's in the county? I said, does that count TWRA that has the right to pull you over, you know, if they don't like the way you're driving? He says, no, this is just, and he was making the point that 90% of all the police officers in this county were made up of people who were nothing but bullies. And I told him, well, what he was getting around to, he said that the highway patrol had been setting up and catching people speeding on Tennessee Avenue, and right around the police department. Said he called the highway patrol head and told him that their man was up there setting up right there close to the police department and was taking revenue away from the police department. And he said, I reminded them that when they turned all that traffic down through here from I-75, that he told me he did not have the manpower to send anybody up here, but yet he can send somebody up here to play hide and go seek, you know, and catch people speeding. I said, well, both of you've got it completely wrong. He said, what do you mean? I said, law enforcement should not be about how much money you raise. I said, if you catch someone for speeding, put them in jail 1 day.
Mm-hmm.
No fine, no nothing else. Put them in jail 1 day. If it's a second offense, put them in jail 2 days. If it's careless and reckless, put them in there for 4 days. I said, if the city and the county has to pay to put them in jail for 4 days, and that guy can't pay his way out and has to be in jail for 4 days, he ain't going to speed. Second, you ain't going to have officers all over the town trying to catch people because there's no money in it. I said, that's the reason you got them hiding behind all the buildings up and down the road. It's because of the money.
Yeah.
I said, you could care less whether anybody gets killed going up and down that highway.
What did he say?
Oh, no. I said, yeah, you got the completely wrong idea. I said, you've been in politics so long, you can't even see the forest for the trees.
Well, you know, they found out that they talk about how much revenue and stuff that they raised with traffic light cameras and how much safer it is and everything. But something like 89% of the fines related to red light cameras is failure to wait long enough to make a right-hand turn.
Yeah.
Well, they ain't a lot of people gets killed making a right-hand turn.
No. Well, I know that, you know, and plus, the figures were at one time, out of $600,000 to Knoxville, 400,000 went to the camera taking people, and 200,000 stayed here. That's when I asked Cliff Jennings about that. He said, well, anything you get is pure profit.
Yeah.
Well, to me, that's completely the wrong way to look at law enforcement, as being pure profit or not being pure profit.
Have you heard anything about that 960, the old WQLA, I guess it is it gone out of business?
I just listened to it.
I don't think you did.
Huh?
960?
I'm not sure.
AM 960?
I'm not sure whether I did or not.
Well, that fella told me earlier today had been off for about a week. It's the one that Cliff finally ended up with, you know.
Yeah.
The AM station up there.
Well, no, I have to check that out because...
we might buy that and go on the radio.
You want to?
Oh, yeah. We could do good.
Yeah. Well, probably I like old boy Ronnie. He was okay.
We could go on the radio and the internet up there.
Yeah.
In fact, we could do an internet broadcast and over-the-air broadcast and
Right.
Have our own green screen on the internet.
Right.
Well, I can see the riches roll in now.
How about that? Well, I know W 104.3.
3.
Huh?
104.3.
Yeah. It's still on there. But they couldn't have a whole lot of operating expense because all they got is music, a few little advertisements, and station breaks.
I'll see if I can pull it up. I hadn't even thought about that. We'll find out in a minute if it's still got a website, if we're still broadcasting. Maybe we will.
Huh?
I said maybe we will. Well, there's that.
Under reconstruction. I thought that was Henley Street Bridge.
You thought what?
I thought it was the Henley Street Bridge that was under reconstruction.
They ran out of people to... they run out of people to drop off that on their head, ain't they?
Yeah. And dropped what, two?
Yeah, I think so.
2 people killed.
Well, evidently it says it's under reconstruction. I guess that's what it is.
Yeah. Call up and find out how much you want for it.
Well, I got the number here. You call. Let's see. No, there ain't no phone number here. There ain't no phone number here. Well, you know, the FCC probably wouldn't let us own it.
And that was figured we'd be too much, saturate the market too much with our thinking.
You what?
I said, Bob figured we'd be saturating the market too much with our thinking.
Yeah, saturating something.
Or our lack of thinking.
Well, we've kind of been around the block on some of this stuff. I keep getting all this free stuff over here on the other screen. I don't need no free stuff. Need to talk to George. I guess we ought to tell them about Digger. He's right down there in the middle of the road in Sawmill Holler, you know.
Down there today. I went by and blew the horn at him.
562-5444, and you need to get you some propane stocked up so
Yeah.
you can grill all weekend over the 4th.
Right.
Get you some of that there mesquite or hickory flavored.
Right.
And by the way, what are you doing up there mowing the road today?
I was trying to mow to the right of way.
I know, but you was up there mowing the gravels when I saw you.
Yeah, well,
You was putting up through there, and this other guy was following you, and you was mowing the gravels.
I was mowing rocks.
Yeah, I know.
I think I knocked a seal out from under that thing.
Well, now, Digger has got more sense to mow rocks. If you need any propane, go there and get you some of it.
I guarantee you, I bet you could cook a hamburger with a rock.
With a rock,
Yeah. All we do is heat them up for propane.
you could do that, I guess,
Yeah.
too.
You do that.
There was a fella to give me some rock fish fillets, and I put them in one of them. You've ever seen the big fish fryers and big
Right.
flat frying pans?
Right.
I put a little oil in there and breaded that up and put it on a grill so I could fry it outside so the grease could pop everywhere and I wouldn't worry about
Right.
cleaning it up. That propane done a good job on that.
Is that right? I bet the fish were good too.
They was.
Yeah.
Yeah, they was good.
When you say you're going to cook some more?
Well, I gotta make somebody feel sorry for her and give me some more. I'm at the mercy of people who have sympathy for my
Right.
plight.
I know. I need some sympathy. I called a lady this morning. She had some green beans. Had 3 bushels of green beans. What do you think she wanted for a bushel of green beans?
$30.
35.
I'm going up.
Hey, have you got any blackbirds out AAA?
Yeah, I'm sure there's some up in. I'm sure there's some up there in that weed
I
patch.
didn't even notice when I rode by.
Well, there's some along the edge of the road. Yeah, there always was some up there. You're welcome to them. Just, I charge $4 a tick bite. If you get a snake,
Fella selling blackbirds this morning.
if you get a snake bit, that's an extra
Oh, he's up on
$12.
top of the house. I ain't worried about that.
What about how much is blackberries a gallon now?
What do you think he's asking a gallon?
15?
$10. Not bad.
No, that ain't bad for what they get for them. Well, I tell you what, I'd rather pick a bushel of beans as a gallon of blackberries.
I'm telling you, me too.
I never did like picking berries. My mother would go pick berries. I was always useless at berry picking. I hated berry picking. It was always hot and had briars and I was afraid of snakes. And
Chiggers.
Yeah, and chiggers. Chiggers used to be bad out there. And
I got some stuff you put on to keep chiggers off.
I need something to keep the ticks and snakes off. We went down to the fireworks shooting Saturday night down there on that boat, and Kramer come down and he had his flashlight and he got to shining and he got spiders coming out of the tarp, and he was convinced they was brown recluse spiders, and they was, I'd say, 200. And they was just coming everywhere after that light. And the only thing we had, he come up with some soap, some liquid soap there, and he was just squirting them with that. Well, that just wash them down and get them good slick, and they'd climb back up there. And I found some WD-40. That's all we had. And we just sprayed WD-40 and soap all over the boat. And then we went out and watched the fireworks and come back in and docked the thing. But I tell you what, it was kind of spooky. It looked like something out of an Alfred Hitchcock movie. But I found out that the spiders look like the pictures of them brown recluse, but the only thing is, these spiders had 8 eyes, and a brown recluse has got 6.
6 eyes.
Yeah. I don't know what a spider needs with
That's
that.
the reason he's mad and mean, because he assured him two
Yeah, I'd think 6 would be enough for anybody, but the other spiders has got 8. Them turned out to be
Right.
long-bodied cellar spiders.
Right.
There wasn't no cellar there.
I got bit by a black widow one time.
Did it die?
He crawled off and died. I didn't know what it was. I got bit right on the cheek of my butt in the outhouse.
How'd that work out?
It made me kind of about half crazy for a day is what it did, or 2 days. I don't remember how long it was. I don't know what I've recovered yet or not.
Well, I'm sure the spider died.
Yeah. So, what was it?
How did you identify him?
Huh?
How did you identify him?
That was when he bit me. I saw him. I got it. We caught him. We caught him.
Them there jumping spiders will bite you, but they're not bad poisonous.
Boy, but I'll tell you what did. I saw a guy, one of them jump on a guy's leg and bite him. You know, you have cellars you used to put your tobacco in to get it moist. And one bit a fellow I know, his name was Nance. And that thing turned into a sore, and he had a rotten place in his leg for a long time where those jumping crickets, what we call them, jumping crickets, bit him.
Yeah. Well, that's what them there brown recluse do. I don't reckon people die from a brown recluse, but they'll rot out a whole chunk sometimes.
Right.
My daddy, they picked cherries there one time, and they had them in the sink, you know, poured them out of the bucket in the sink and washing them, and they was picking the cherries out and leaving the trash, and my daddy reached down the bottom, and something bit him, or stung him, or something, and we got the water out and got to looking, and it was a jumping spider, and evidently he was down there under a bubble, in a bubble somewhere, you know. He'd been down there a while, and it bit him in the finger, and of course I made him go to the doctor. We boxed it up and took it with us, and they said, well, it's a jumping spider. It's not poisonous, but it stung pretty bad. It got his attention when it bit him. He said the doctor told him it might get sore, but he wasn't going to die or nothing.
There's a lot of things around up here. But you know, if you don't want to be bit by a spider, just come on up to my place tomorrow. I've got all sorts of things that will take your attention away from being bit by a spider. If you need a good little refrigerator, I've got some small refrigerators that work real good. They're $25 a piece, and I think I got 3 of them left. I also have some big refrigerators if you need a big refrigerator. I've got washers, and I've got dryers, and I've got dishwashers. I've got mattresses and springs and headboards and footboards, and I've got sofas and chairs and couches and baby items, and I've got a hot water heater, an electric hot water heater that's practically new. It is a 110 unit though, so don't know that makes a whole lot of difference.
You don't see many of them big water heaters that's 110.
I know that.
People tell you that they use a lot more electricity, but they don't.
I know, that's why I say they don't.
They use more current, but they don't use more power, and that's
Right.
what you pay for is power.
Right.
They use twice as much current at half the
I
voltage.
guarantee you plug up a 110 hot water heater and then plug up 220 hot water heater, and the meters are going to turn about the same on both of them.
Yeah. If they're the same wattage.
Yeah.
And then what it is, people get all excited because, well, if you got 110, it'll pull 20 amps, and if you put a 220 in there, it just pulls 10 amps. Well, yeah, that's right. But the power's the same.
Right. You're not paying for amps.
You're paying for power.
Right.
Ain't nobody ever buys a horse and says how many amps they use. They want to know how much horsepower he's got.
Right. You know, talking about horsepower, did you know that National Coal Company has ended its surface mining operations in Tennessee?
National who?
National Coal Company?
No, I'm not surprised though.
You ever signed an agreement with the government that the government wouldn't access additional fines on them if they'd pay up what they owed and get out of the business? So that's pretty bad when the government goes about putting a natural resource producing company out of business. There's not anything more natural than coal. And we only have enough to last us 700-800 years.
I know, and at the rate they're wanting to use it, it'll last forever.
Yeah. That's about like my car sitting out there getting good gas mileage as long as I don't crank it up.
I just wonder how the UMWA feels. A lot of them are union people, strong Democrats.
You did what?
The UMWA, the union, the miners' union. I wonder how they're feeling about their Democrat president now.
Well, as I could say, they turned West Virginia Republican.
Yeah. Well, he said that's what he's going to do. I don't know why people's acting surprised.
Said that right. And that's about like this preacher, you know. He loved to really make a big splash when he opened his sermon up. And so he come out to preach one Sunday, and he started his sermon. He's, "Behold, I come," and he forgot what the rest of it was. So he got back and he said, "Behold, I come." Could not remember the rest of his sermon. So he got back even farther. He hit that rostrum up there and said, "Behold, I come." And when he did, it toppled over right on top of a woman in the front row. And he said that he was he was apologizing for that. And she said, "Well, that's all right, preacher." Said, "You warned me 3 times. So that's about the way Obama was. He warned everybody 3 times, you know. And let me see who was wanting to sell me what. I don't know who that is. Hello? Hello? Hello?
They're talking.
That's somebody from Georgia, I believe. I believe that's the lady from Georgia calling. Hey, this is Bob. You call me? This is Bob. Who were you calling for? Holly? Okay, see ya. He's done that before. Wrong number.
Well, we've about got in our time, but we need to tell them about that one business that we let you test out. I mean, we go the full route here. We just won't settle for nothing. That we don't advertise for people unless we check them out. So Bob volunteered to drink the rotten tomato juice, and Vital Care hauled him to the hospital.
I was talking about their cute little van they got.
Well, they've got to manage to get enough out of Bob to buy him a cute little van.
I guarantee you they got some of the best equipment you could look for anywhere.
Yeah, and they don't require the county to pay for it for them.
And they will give you tender loving care. That's Vital Care, 562-9370. And just call them. If you can't remember the number, dial 911. Tell them you want Vital Care.
Vital Care, yeah.
And they'll do you good. They've been in business about 40-some years doing this sort of thing, and know well what they're doing. They're experts at it, and they know if they don't please you, then ain't nobody gonna call them again.
And they won't be there. They'll go out of business. They won't get paid anyway if they don't.
That's exactly right. It's Vital Care Medical Transport Services, located right here in LaFollette, Tennessee, U.S. of A.
If anybody needs any good metal roofing or any shingles or any, I can even get lumber, linoleum, kitchen rugs, vinyl siding and windows and doors, all kinds of doors.
Them short arm 2x4s.
Yeah, I'm short on 2x4s, but I sell 2x4s, but I can't keep up with the. I mean, talking about them discounted 2x4s, we can't keep up with the demand on them. And Bob, he's got at least I know he's got an iron bed sitting up there in the road, so he must
Two
have.
of them.
He got 2 iron beds sitting up there in the road.
And they're iron beds. They're not tin beds.
I saw that in up there. Did you sell that lawnmower?
Also, if you come down tomorrow, I got some tomatoes that are getting too ripe. I'll give you some tomatoes.
Did you sell that? I mean, are you going to sell that there rock mowing lawnmower?
I sold it.
Oh, we done sold it.
Yeah.
My tomatoes, I just put out 4 plants. I figured I'd be eat up with tomatoes. I've got 1 plant with 3 tomatoes on it.
Really?
One of them's got a few blooms, and 2 of them ain't wore no bloomers
Well, do you
yet.
need some tomatoes tonight?
No. What I need is to find out why mine ain't making no tomatoes. You got any idea?
What?
What's wrong with them?
With your tomato plant?
Yeah. They're just a growing vines.
I have no idea.
They ain't even a blooming. You got some excess tomatoes, I can get me one to take home with me.
Yeah, I want to give you some tomatoes, yeah, because I don't want to have to can all them tomatoes.
Well, folks, I can't eat over 1 or 2. I ain't but one of me. I like tomato sandwiches, though.
I do too.
We're going to go. We appreciate you tuning
Folks,
in.
we'll see you tomorrow night.
Same time, same place on the internet.
All right.
Or you can go to your channel 12 on local Comcast and watch us there. We sure do thank you.
Appreciate
Bye.
you. See ya.